All right. Hi, everybody. It's Miss Owens.
And Coach Mac.
And we are here to answer some of your anonymous puberty questions. Coach Mac, you ready?
As ever.
All right. So my first question is for Coach Mac, and it is, do you have to wear deodorant for the rest of your life?
That's a very good question. Wearing deodorant actually is a personal preference. All right. If you feel comfortable wearing it, go ahead and do it. If you don't feel comfortable, because there are chemicals that go into deodorant to, block the smell and block our pores from releasing the smell. But it's all personal preference. I mean, talk to Mr. Poole for crying out loud. That hippie wears all natural deodorant. And I think that he'll have a lot of good advice for you. So it's a personal preference. If you would like to, go ahead and do it. You do not have to.
Cool. Thank you.
All right, Miss Owens. I'm confused about my sexuality, and I don't know if I like boys or girls or both. But I'm also worried because if I do like both, I don't know if my parents will accept me. What do I do?
Sure. Yeah, that's a great question. So right now during puberty, and especially going through middle school, it is totally normal to be questioning your sexuality. And you don't have to have it figured out by now. You don't have to have your sexuality figured out. It is important that if you are questioning your sexuality, that you talk to somebody that you trust. And here especially, you can talk to Miss Callie or Miss Casey about that. And if coming out to your parents or worrying about your parents is something that you're worried about, they are the two people who could help you the most with addressing those issues and maybe coming up with a plan. So always go to Miss Callie and Miss Casey for issues of sexuality.
Great answer.
All right, Coach Mac, next question. Am I going to grow taller?
Is there a reason this was picked for me?
I don't know.
Okay, so height, facial features, color of our hair, color of our eyes, it's all genetic, all right? That means that it is passed down through our genes, through our parents. Yes, a lot of you will sprout up, and some of you are already taller than me, and that's awesome. And you might even get taller. All right, and some of us sprout and we just stop. We weren't watered enough as a kid, I guess. I don't know, or we started drinking coffee. But the answer is it comes from your genetics, all right? If you have tall members in your family, it's more likely that you're gonna get taller, all right? If your parents are short like mine, then I am who I am. I'm done growing. All right, Ms. Owens. I saw a poster in the girls' bathroom saying there are period products in the front office. Is that true? How can we tell our teacher in a non-embarrassing way?
Yeah, so there are period products in the front office. So if you need a pad, you can always go to the front office and they can supply you with one. Also, Miss Casey keeps some in her office as well. So if you need to go to Miss Casey, you can go to Miss Casey. And to telling your teachers in a non-embarrassing way, I know it can be pretty embarrassing to ask an adult, especially maybe like a male teacher, that you need to go to the bathroom because you have your period. But if you say something like, hey, just really discreetly, you can even send your teacher an email during class, or just raise your hand and really quietly be like, hey, I'm going through my monthly cycle, I need to go to the bathroom. 99.9% of your time, the time your teachers are going to be like, yeah, go do your thing. So if you just are calm about it and just say hey, I really need to, your teachers will be okay with it. Coach Mac, is getting sweaty out of nowhere part of puberty? This happens to me a lot.
Yeah, absolutely. Totally part of puberty. Some of us have overactive sweat glands. I believe that I am one of them. Just sitting down, sometimes I'll be like, oh man, my armpits are kind of wet. So yes, it's a normal part of puberty. Sweating doesn't mean that you go run around for 25 minutes and you're sweating. No, our body's adjusting the way it's changing and our pores are opening, and it's totally normal. All right. Ms. Owens, are there any foods that can boost estrogen or testosterone levels? Asking for my trans peeps.
All right. Hey, trans peeps. So technically, yes, there are foods that you can eat that will boost those hormone levels. So testosterone or estrogen. But the food that you eat, no matter how much you eat it, it's not going to give you enough of that hormone to like develop the features of what you're looking for. So eating like a high testosterone boosting food isn't going to give you facial hair. So my suggestion is, if you are talking to your parents already about transitioning or using hormones, that's a conversation that you need to have with your parents. Also, Miss Casey and Miss Callie can give our trans identifying scholars any resources that they need. So that's my recommendation. So Coach Mac, since I was assigned male at birth, why did I start growing hair on my testicle part at a young age, like before the age of 9?
Yeah, again, our bodies are totally different, right? Our bodies are unique to the person who we are. And it can start, scientifically, they say it starts anywhere between 9 and ends by 16, 17. Hey, that doesn't mean that you're going to fall into that category. Sometimes it starts earlier, sometimes it starts later. And regardless, like everybody goes through it. If you're early, you're early. If you're later, you're later. It's just part of the process. As my Philadelphia 76ers say, trust the process. All right, here we go. Miss Owens, is it scary to have a period?
At first, it can be kind of scary, right? Something new is happening to your body, something unfamiliar is happening to your body. And so the first couple of times that you experience your period, yeah, it might be something that is a little nerve-wracking, right? You have to start going to the bathroom more, and you have to start checking your period products, and you know, there's a lot of changes that go on before your period, right? Like getting mood swings or going through like something called premenstrual syndrome, like PMS. But rest assured, you do get used to getting your period every month. And while it may seem scary at first, you will adjust to it. All right, Coach Mac, what happens if your voice doesn't change?
Again, like our previous question, it's how our body, right? We're all unique individuals, and you might not feel or notice that there's a change in your voice happening, but trust there is. And it will change regardless. And if you don't think it's changing, the people you're talking to will pick up on the difference as well. So again, our bodies are unique. Not everybody's going to notice that voice change right away, but it happens. Miss Owens, do you need to wear something for your period? What do I do if I get my period at school?
Yeah, so a lot of people who experience periods will choose to use something like a pad or a tampon or something called a menstrual cup. And for the most part, people use it because they don't want to bleed through their clothing. So I would say most people do use some sort of period product in order to take care of their period in general. All right, Coach Mac. Other than washing your face, what are some other ways to prevent acne?
That's a great question. Some ways to prevent acne could be our diet. All right, so we want to watch like some of the foods we eat, like the greasier fast foods, because remember our bodies are already producing natural oils, and we add more greasy food to that. It makes them overactive and it could clog a little bit more. So maybe dieting. Other than that, yeah, just stay washing your face and keep up with that. Maybe even carry like little face washing pads with you, and that could help prevent the spread of acne as well.
Totally.
All right, Miss Owens, if you have your period and don't have a pad and the front office doesn't have any, who do I ask?
I'm going to give you 2 options. One is you can ask a friend that you trust. Maybe they have a period product on them. The other is Miss Casey. So send an email to Miss Casey and be like, Miss Casey, I have my period. Can I come grab a pad or tampon from you? And she's always going to say, yes, come on by, or she can drop it off to your classroom. Coach Mac, I am already having crushes. Is that normal?
100%. 100%. As mentioned, puberty, you'll start catching feelings, right? Absolutely. My word of advice to that is don't act on your initial instincts. Think about it. Maybe talk to myself, a teacher, a friend, before you go and try to communicate with who you're crushing on. But yeah, 100% normal. 100%.
Definitely.
The middle school crush. That comes, yeah, guaranteed. All right, Owens, here we go. Are stretch marks normal? If so, What can I do to make them go away?
Yes, stretch marks are 100 billion million percent normal. Like 99% of all people, regardless of gender, experience stretch marks. As somebody who identifies as female, like I noticed that I have some on my thighs and on my hips, and that's part of that. My body has been growing, right? As we've talked about, like you're going to gain weight in your hips and your butt. And so you might experience, because that rapid weight gain is going to just stretch your skin out. And the way that your skin reacts to it is by producing stretch marks. So it's totally normal. Everybody gets them. Unfortunately, you can't make them totally go away. Part of the solution is time. So after, you might notice that your stretch marks are like very deep red, like they're very noticeable. And after time, they'll turn into like a really light silvery color, and they'll be less noticeable. You could also use like scarring products to try and lighten them. But in reality, there's really nothing you can do. Time will heal them quite a bit. All right. Do girls have acne better or worse than boys do?
All right, yeah, so let's remember that acne is not, it's not discriminatory, right? It doesn't go towards a certain gender when we go through puberty. A lot of it is genetic as well. You'll face that, like if parents have gone through it or brothers and sisters may have had it, there's probably a better chance that you will experience some, but no, the answer is no, it does not affect girls more than boys or boys more than girls. Miss Owens, what is the best face wash to use? What if you don't have any face wash?
Cool. Okay, so the best face wash to use, especially on y'all's young skin, is something really gentle. So a normal cleanser like CeraVe, you'll see it at any sort of drugstore. It's going to be really gentle on your skin, but clean it really well. I am going to beg that you avoid anything with like a scrub in it. So actually, Coach Mack and I were talking, like when we were in middle school, the really popular thing to use was that apricot scrub. And it literally just felt like sand against your skin. And so afterwards, your skin would feel really smooth, but actually those little pieces of sand were cutting up your skin and making your skin more likely to get acne. So use something calming on your skin, use something gentle. Look for something that's a sensitive skin. That's also a really good way to know that you're gonna use something that's gonna be gentle on your face. If you don't have face wash, my suggestion would be at least like running water on your face and drying it off really well to kind of clear some of that extra oil that your skin is making. All right, another acne question. If I have acne on my forehead and I want to scratch it, does it hurt my skin?
Absolutely. If you're going to pick at your pimples, pop your pimples, don't do it. Not recommend it. Why? You can start scarring, and then a pimple that will go away in a short period of time could end up as a scar for the rest of your life. So no, do not. Do not touch them. Are there girls who don't get their period? Are there boys who do?
So yes, there are girls who don't get their period, and there are boys who do get their period. So perhaps somebody was assigned female at birth, but they identify as a transgender man. Because their anatomy still has a uterus and a vagina, they are going to have their period. And if you were assigned male at birth, and you identify as a trans female, you're still gonna have a penis and not menstruate. So you're going to be a girl who doesn't get her period. So yeah, there are girls who don't get a period and there are boys who do. All right, Coach Mack, do old people go through puberty or are they done changing?
Well, that's a great question. Honestly, for people who are born female, they will eventually stop producing eggs, and we'll get into that. It's something called menopause. Males will always produce sperm, but as for like will you get more facial hair underneath your eyeballs, or will you grow more hair underneath your armpits or your genitals? No, it will stop. Yes, you will still experience some cases of pimples popping up as you get older. I don't think that will ever go away. It's just how we take care of our bodies, but eventually it will, probably around the age of like 16 or 17. Ms. Owens, How do I stop period blood from leaking through my pants?
Awesome question. Yes, especially when we wear our uniforms and we're wearing those light colored khaki pants. So my advice would be, I have two different forms of advice. One is that period products come in different strength levels. So you may go to the store and notice that you see like pads and tampons that say like light, regular, and super. So your light one is obviously for when things are light. Your regular one is for when things are kind of normal, and then your heavy one is, or your super one is for when you're experiencing a more heavy period. My suggestion would be, when you are worried about leaking, using a super or a super tampon or pad is going to be really helpful in preventing those leaks. The second is that you can also double up, so you can wear a pad and a tampon at the same time. That will also help prevent leaks. If you do experience a leak at school, please don't worry. It happens to the best of us. I have definitely experienced it as well. I'm sure a bunch of people, our teachers who get their period here, they have stories about their period leaking through their pants. You can go to the front office and they can give you another pair of pants or a sweater to tie around your waist if that's something that you're worried about. So just know that there are solutions available if that is something that happens while you're at school. Coach Mac, if I have feelings about my crush, should I tell them right now or no?
I suggest that you maybe play it out in your head before you just go and talk to your crush. Because the feeling might not be mutual. And if that's the case, then you don't want to be let down, or you don't want to be upset or hurt. Again, play your conversation through in your head. If you sound like you got a good plan, maybe talk to them, be kind to each other, be gentle. And then, if the conversation goes somewhere and you feel comfortable, then you can tell them your true feelings for them. Become a friend before you tell them that you're crushing on them. And then, because you might end up in the friend zone, whatever. We've been there. Who cares? It happens. But at least you get a feeling. Also,
advice for people who are on the receiving end. So if somebody is going to you and being like, hey, I have a crush on you, be kind. Remember, be empathetic. How would you want somebody to react to you if you had a crush on them and they were going to be like, I don't have a crush on you back? Be kind and gentle to those. That's a very brave thing that they're doing, to tell you that they have feelings for you. I am almost 30 years old and I still don't like to tell people that I have feelings for them. It's a scary thing. How else are girls' and boys' bodies different during puberty?
Okay, well, I would like to answer that first by saying there's more similarities in the way our bodies are changing. The biggest difference is our male and female reproductive systems. Where those assigned male at birth produce sperm, have a penis, and continue to grow, most likely grow more facial hair. And for our students assigned female at birth, it's the vulva, the vagina, the uterus, the ovaries, and they might start to grow more breast tissue, so breast develop, and probably less facial hair. But I would say there's more similarities than differences.
Totally.
So, how can you sneak a pad into the bathroom without making any noise?
Ooh, have I been there? Oh my gosh, I was the queen of being sneaky about bringing period products into the bathroom. So I have two pieces of advice. One is you can carry a small makeup bag or a small bag and just literally keep your period products in there. So stuff it with pads and tampons, keep it in your backpack. And when you're like, hey, I got to go to the bathroom, you just pull it out of your bag and just carry it with you. That's part number one. Advice piece number two, and which is I'm very good at, is if you're wearing long sleeves like I am, my favorite thing to do is to just shove it right into my sleeve. It won't make any noise. And listen, I feel it. I still don't want people to see my period products. There shouldn't be a shame, or you shouldn't be ashamed that you have your period, but we still have those feelings of I don't want people to know. So I like to shove it into my sleeve. It doesn't make any noise. You just kind of hold your sleeve like this, and that's another way that you can bring a tampon or a pad into the bathroom without making any noise. Why does our body odor change?
Our body odor changes because of our hormones, right? So as we grow and develop, different chemicals are being released in our body, and so it's making our sweat glands super active, and it's making our body's natural scent a little bit stronger and more noticeable. So all it is just our body's changing and the hormone kicking in.
All right, and my last question for us today. How long does puberty last?
Great question, and we sort of answered this in some previous ones, and it all depends on our body and the way it goes. Some studies say it starts as early as 9, can start earlier, and some say it can start later as well, and some say that it ends around 16, 17 years old. So that's basically like when our full bodies are changing. Let's not forget our minds are still our brains are still developing and all that, but for our physical features, I would say anywhere between 9 and 16.
Awesome. Thank you, Coach Mac. That's all the questions that we have today for y'all. I really enjoyed this. I hope you did too, Coach Mac.
Also, don't stop asking questions, okay? Because there's going to be more questions that you're not. There's a lot of questions that you still feel uncomfortable about, like writing down and us answering. Like we're talking about like sexuality, sexual intercourse, the whole crushes. Talk about them. Don't be afraid to talk about them. Come and ask any one of your teachers, any adult, and just get informed on some of this information because it's very important to have at this age.
Totally. And with that, the puberty party is out. We'll catch you later. Peace.
See you later.